My favorite episodes of the 1960s sci-fi anthology series, The Outer Limits. These episodes will knock you off your feet. So come on in and listen. If you don't love at least one of these, I have this to say to you.
Your ignorance makes me ill and angry.
The Inheritors was my favorite episode, but actually was a two-parter, so it's 2 episodes, but I'm including them as one unit. One of the things that made it so enjoyable was the great acting. I'm including a clip next where you hear an actor's voice, and you should know who he is, but see if you recognize him from his voice.
I hope you rot, mens, all of you.
Did you guess the actor from his voice? I'll give you some more time to think about it. This was the very first time I saw this actor, and even as a young person, I thought, gosh, this guy's really a good actor. I think he's going to go somewhere. Other episodes, and some of them I'm including in my best list, have good actors, and some that were good but didn't make my greatest episodes had good actors too. Young actors first starting out, and some well-known actors. But I'll point them out when I get to those episodes. I'll show you a clip where this actor is seen now. In case you couldn't recognize the voice, you probably will recognize his face. So let's look at it and see if you can guess when you see him.
I don't care that you couldn't stop what you did. You're gonna stop yourselves. You're gonna take in your own lives without harming those helpless little ones. Why'd you pick on those particular ones, Mins? Why the helpless ones?
I don't know why, Ballard.
Now let them go, please. Let them go.
Did you guess who he was? It's Robert Duvall. If the name doesn't mean anything, most people have seen The Godfather. And he played Tom Hagen, the lawyer, the sort of unofficially adopted son. I think Sonny found him on the street when he was a kid, and The Godfather adopted him. But he's been in many movies, many things. But that's probably where most people would know him from. One of the things I liked about this episode was the intelligent writing, and that included some of the dialogue that was simple but logical. And I'll show you a clip and then come back and sort of explain it and why I thought that way when I saw it.
You didn't use your key?
No,
Did you know the door was unlocked or that we were in here?
both.
This is Ray Harris, Deputy Director of the Federal Bureau of Security.
It must be your men staking me out.
Are they that conspicuous? You knew that and walked in anyway.
The plot of these 2 episodes was that an alien intelligence had gotten into several different men. Robert Duvall played a science person that worked for the government, and that other fellow worked for a law enforcement agency. Robert Duvall suspected that alien intelligence was in these men, didn't know what the capabilities were, what the motives were. They had gone to where the leader of the group that had mind possession was staying. They searched the room. They were waiting for him. So that previous scene, to me as a kid, Robert Duvall asked logical questions, trying to find out what the capabilities were. He made an observation. The guy came in the door. You know, how did he know it was unlocked, or did he know? So that's too often. Even back then, but even more so today, you have a hero of a movie that knows things, and it's like, well, how did they know that? There were no things that we observed as an audience that led them to those conclusions. They just sort of mind-read things they're supposed to know for the plot. Well, this shows a guy that's just asking the simplest, most basic things, trying to find out what he can, even finding out the nature of the guy. Does he get angry? Does he clam up? He gives answers readily. So that impressed me even as a kid, that this is really good writing that's making somebody act like a science person might act, make an observation and pursue a line of questions about it. So I thought that was really good. I just gave that as an example, but the writing overall is excellent.
Let's move in on them, Ray. Let's move in on them right now with whatever we've got. We'll never have a better time.
It could be bloody.
What do they want with children?
Even an H-bomb ballot, nothing can get in. There's no way to stop the project.
So you see what I mean? You don't need CGI. You make sound of the bullets and you can imagine it's hitting a force field, or Robert Duvall uses a mime trick of just using his hands like, there's a force field here. My second favorite episode was called Nightmare. A brief description of a plot. An alien race starts a war with Earth. A spaceship is going there to attack. They've never seen the aliens. They're taken captive. I'll show you a few clips together. And again, there's an actor at the beginning. Try to guess who he is. I'll tell you later if you don't know.
Arthur Dix, private, United States Astro Force.
In your own earthly phrase, you are prisoners of war.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Did you recognize? A very young Martin Sheen. His first movie that he went to fame was Apocalypse Now. I don't know how many young people have seen that, but I think he was in West Wing, the TV series, and lots of other movies later on. Plot is the aliens are going to try to get information from them. They're torturing them in different methods. The alien costume or makeup or everything was, I think, superb. Even nowadays, a really alien, unearthly costume. Frightening, which adds to the fact they're being tortured or scared to be captives, POWs to begin with. They're going to be tortured. And here's this creepy looking thing. Better than some things on the old Star Trek where you put some ridges on the head. Alien. Like this thing really looked like something you wouldn't expect to see. My third favorite episode is called Zanti Misfits. The plot of this is that aliens have been in contact with Earth over radio. And people have never seen them. They don't know what they look like, but they're demanding an area of Earth that they can land on. The premise is kind of unique of why they want to land. I won't spoil it again so that you can watch and enjoy it. I don't spoil why they're landing and the resolution of it, but it's sort of unique at the time. And since I don't think I've seen another alien movie where their motive is to save. So it was really original. Again, the plot, actors. This has a young actor. I'm going to show him later in the clip, and I'll tell you who he is, and you try to guess if you know who he is. Also, they have in this where they communicate with the aliens by radio, like I say, but they have to translate it. And this is used really effectively for dramatic purposes, where the aliens talk and then they have to run it through the computer and then it comes out translated. The aliens just don't know how to speak English, or they just don't send their message. And it adds drama, especially when this guy who's not supposed to be on the site where the aliens are going to go goes on there and causes chaos. Now, the aliens are threatening to do destruction to the Earth, and people don't know their capabilities. They assume they have massive weapons because if they can fly across space, they certainly have advanced technology. So I'll show the clips, see if you know who this guy is.
Translate.
We have reason to suspect your good faith. Landstri of Twinzini.
Get off. Get off.
Did you recognize who that is? That was a young Bruce Dern. He's been in many, many movies. When he started out early, he played like bad guys, psychotic guys, and he did it really well. Then he branched out more into dramatic type stuff. I don't know if there's any singular movie he's most famous for, so I'm not going to say any, but I think his daughter too is Laura Dern. It's an actress. So again, many young actors that the casting directors of these series were really good at casting people. Anyway, you can see as the alien was attacking him. He's incapacitated. The people are listening. How horrifying, because they don't even know what the aliens look like. What are they doing to him? What's going on? You can see the really dramatic scene of just listening to somebody horrified at these things, their thing coming on him. Like, what is it? What's it doing? So it was really a good episode. My fourth favorite episode was named A Feasibility Study. In this episode, an entire community is instantly transported to an alien planet. The initial confused and shocked reaction of the people, their final realization of the cause and purpose, and their concluding decisions make a compelling sci-fi story with an uplifting, emotional ending. My fifth favorite episode is called Demon with a Glass Hand, and this is a great science fiction mystery. A guy has amnesia. He has a glass hand, and some of the fingers are missing. And the hand can talk to him, but it can only give him partial guesses or calculations because part of it's missing in response to his questions. There's a group chasing them. They're limited by number, but if one's killed, another can come to replace the missing one. So it's interesting of what's going on. Why are they chasing him? Why doesn't he have his memory? And what's the deal with the glass hand? Kind of eerie. The music, I haven't mentioned in previous episodes, but the music of The Outer Limits was really effective, an effective mood, making it eerie at times, or if it was emotional in some other way, sad or bittersweet. They had certain themes that they would repeat sometimes, but they were so good, I liked hearing them. I'm not playing any of them because I get copyrighted claimed so much just with a little bit of music, unlike other people. So I'm not going to play any to illustrate how good they can help various emotional scenes, but I should mention that's a big part of making the whole series as a whole enjoyable.
Who are you? And the others that are with you? Are you from this time or from the future? What do you want with me? What are you after? Why are you trying to kill me?
What can I do? Who are they?
Programming data insufficient on question 2. I am incomplete. I can serve you better if I am complete.
My last favorite episode was called I, Robot. The plot is that a robot is accused of killing the scientist who created it. Lawyer that's retired is talked into coming out of his retirement to defend the robot as if it's a person, as if it has rights and not just a machine. So that's an interesting premise way back then, but it's even more relevant today as AI gets more and more advanced. Now, the special effects of the robot are kind of primitive, the voice and the looks of it. But I think that actually adds to the story, because if you had him look like Data, that looked like a human and talked more like a human, people be more sympathetic or empathetic. To make it look so mechanical and sound more mechanical makes it like, well, why are you putting this on trial? Of course it doesn't have rights. So it makes the plot even more emphatic that the fight to give this thing rights, because it's what's in his mind. It's not how he looks and exactly how he talks. It's how he thinks. Is he emotional and is he a moral being inside? Did he actually do it? Or is he an immoral, evil thing inside? I won't tell you the ending. And if you look closely, there's a reporter that's played by Leonard Nimoy. So I'll show a few clips to give you a flavor of that episode.
Frankenstein killed by his own monster.
Look, there's no doubt he killed him. Doc was alone in his lab. Nobody else could have done it. You talk like it was human.
Well, he is almost.
How do you feel about being in here?
Would you like being in a cage, Mr. Cutler?
Well, that's the list of my absolute best. I didn't make like a top 10 because when I started looking through, these are the ones that absolutely jumped out. Well, these would be on my top 10 list. But after you got past that, there's so many more that are good, but they're just as good as another one. So I'm like, I can't differentiate to make 10, to pick some more out to make it an even 10. So I'm like, these absolutely stood out. So I had no problem putting them on. So I'm just going to end it because there's no way without rolling dice or something, because there's so many other good ones that could be on the top 10 list, and they're all equal. So I didn't want to do it. So thanks a lot. If you have any comments, or hey, if you have episodes that you think should be on there that they are standouts, or if you think some of mine shouldn't be on there, give a comment. I'd like to hear what you have to say.